At just 22 years of age, Lando Norris has come a long way in his journey as a racing driver, having finished 3 seasons in Formula 1 with McLaren. The young Briton achieved a sting of podiums last season and even outperformed his teammate Daniel Ricciardo on multiple occasions throughout the year. Gearing up for a new season with new regulations, Norris is looking forward to finishing higher up in the standings and may even put up a fight for the championship. His ferocity on track and his dedication to the sport has earned him widespread acclaim among other drivers as a rising star to look out for, which makes us wonder, what do F1 legends really think of Lando Norris? Well, let's find out. Mika Hakkinen. The 2-time world champion was a McLaren driver himself, having won both his titles with a British team. Although he retired from F1 back in 2002, Hakkinen has maintained close relations with his former team and is sometimes present as an analyst for the official broadcast. Speaking about Lando after the 2021 Russian Grand Prix, Hakkinen said, "Lando has great car control, particularly in the wet, so it came down to how confident he felt and how much risk he was prepared to take. After finishing second to McLaren teammate Daniel Ricciardo in Italy, you could really sense his determination and focus on getting the win in Sochi. It's easy to criticize, but when you're trying to score your first win in F1, you often have to face difficult decisions. I've no doubt Lando's first win is not far away. He should be proud of his performance." Hakkinen is extremely supportive of the young driver, having mentioned, "It's important to remember that Lando is only 21. But in his 3rd season in F1, he's doing such a fantastic job. The big story for me is Lando Norris's performance for McLaren." Damon Hill. The British driver won the Drivers' Championship in the year 1996, fighting against the like of Jacques Villeneuve and Michael Schumacher. Following his departure from the sport, Hill has been actively working behind the scenes as a commentator for Sky Sports and even served as the president of the British Racing Drivers Club. Sharing his opinion about Norris, Hill stated, "Lando is very, very special, there's no doubt about it. I'd heard a lot about Lando, all of it glowing. But now I know why. He just wants to be driving a competitive car, and more importantly, he can galvanize the team because there's nothing like a driver that excites." Having witnessed Lando's performance at Sochi last year, Hill was quick to praise the lad, saying, "The star of the weekend was Lando Norris. He didn't win the race, he got pole position, but he drove absolutely magnificently under quite a lot of pressure from a 7-time world champion behind him. He was very cool on the radio. I know he got a bit shirty at the end when he was trying to concentrate on driving slicks in the wet, but you can understand that. I think he was a star." Nico Rosberg. Similar to Damon Hill, Rosberg too is the son of a former world champion as well as a winning champion himself. The German driver, known for his calculated racing style, was Hamilton's fiercest rival until his shock retirement in 2016. Making his assessment of the British driver, Rosberg quoted, "Lando is in absolutely astonishing form, he's driving so well. Of course, coming off the high of getting a new contract, a new multi-year deal, so he's really impressive, a great British hope for the future. Lando has what it takes to be a world champion. He's proving it this year more than ever up against Daniel, who's a phenomenal driver. The way he's been dominating him this year has been really impressive." Rosberg, however, has been wary of Lando's bond with former teammate Carlos Sainz in the past, having said, "You can't be friends. If you've got 2 guys who are trying to beat each other, it's impossible to be friends. You're fighting for a world championship and there's so much at stake that unfortunately that becomes more important than friendship." Despite Rosberg's claims, the 2 drivers are still good friends. A stark contrast from Rosberg and Hamilton's relationship. Juan Pablo Montoya. The ex-Williams driver is known not just for his racecraft in F1, but also for his stint in the kart series, given his championship win as a rookie. The Colombian driver, who made his F1 debut in 2001, moved over to McLaren in 2005 and would stay with the team for 2 years before exiting Formula 1 for good. Like many other drivers, Montoya too felt sorry for Norris, having lost out on a Grand Prix win in Russia. "It's crazy because I know how disappointed he is, but if you look at the big picture, he did lead a GP. Yes, you didn't win it, but you've been on the podium, you led most of the race and you didn't make any mistakes. In hindsight, 90% of the grid would have loved to have done what Lando did that day. Proved he can do it. That's the important thing," commented Montoya about Norris's performance that weekend. Montoya further went on to add, "That's also what you can take with him in a positive sense, namely that he can do it. As soon as you start to believe in yourself in that way and believe that you can do it, then it comes relatively easy." Jackie Stewart. A legend of his time, Sir Jackie Stewart is a 3-time world champion with wins in 1969, 1970 and 1973 for teams like Matra and Tyrrell. Nicknamed as the Flying Scot, the veteran F1 driver can still be seen around the paddock at times. Observing Norris's debut qualifying run, Stewart made a note of the rookie's talent at the time, declaring, "I think he looks terrific. Lando has natural God-given talent." To see young talent coming through successfully is a really nice thing to see. Given his years of experience in the sport and his outlook on the sport over a period of 5 decades, Stewart had some well-deserved advice to share with the young driver, stating, "The big thing for him now is to be able to focus, mind management, because he's clearly got the skills and is doing it under pressure. You cannot afford to get wound up. I won most of my races in the first 5 laps while some of the others were still pulling themselves together. If he can do that, he will go far." Since then, Stewart has only seen Norris rise up the ranks, with the old-timer even having congratulated Norris on Instagram for his first F1 podium. Johnny Herbert. The British racing driver participated in Formula 1 throughout the 90s for multiple teams such as Benetton, Lotus, Sauber and Jaguar among others. Despite having been through a life-threatening accident during his international Formula 3000 campaign, Herbert will still go on to compete in F1, winning 3 races in his career. Talking about Lando's first year in F1, Herbert remarked, "Lando has been a standout performer of the year, and at the moment he's our second best Brit. As an overall package, he looks good for us, and he's only going to get stronger, that's the nice thing." He was nevertheless proven right, which is why Norris has been his favourite for the last season too, with Herbert revealing, "Lando Norris is my choice for driver of the first half season in Formula 1, because there is a wonderful maturity that is starting to appear in him, and it's a maturity we didn't see in the past couple of years. Lando was so friendly, bubbly and chatty when he first came into F1, and he still is, but he has something now that wasn't there before. Yes, McLaren has improved, but it's Lando who's been the real standout. He's delivering the goods consistently." Emerson Fittipaldi. A highly accomplished driver, Emerson Fittipaldi has a rich history within the sport, winning the Formula 1 Championship twice as well as the Indy 500 twice. The Brazilian legend has made a long-lasting impact in F1, with the Fittipaldi legacy now carried forward through drivers like Christian, Pietro and Enzo Fittipaldi. The former McLaren driver rallied his support for McLaren's youngest driver yet, proclaiming, "Lando Norris has all the ingredients to be a champion. He's World Championship title material for sure. He's very talented, he's been very successful in karting and other Formula Series, and it's great to see another British challenger come along. I was with Zach Brown talking about Lando, and he's doing a really incredible job. McLaren have improved since he's been there." Among his more experienced peers, Fittipaldi still rates Lando quite highly, mentioning, "We know already that Verstappen and Leclerc are showing their potential, but you have to say Lando Norris as well. There's so many great talent. He's right up there for me and part of a new golden era. Lando is maybe the unknown of the 3, but for me he's as much World Championship material as the other 2. And so that is what F1 legends had to say about the up-and-coming Lando Norris. With a whole new car this season, this could very well be a golden opportunity for the McLaren driver to stake his claim at the driver's title. So, what do you think about Lando Norris? Will he be able to put up a fight for the championship against Ricciardo and the other drivers? Tell us what you think in the comment section, and of course, don't forget to like, share and subscribe.